Have you ever wondered why the Quran sometimes speaks in such powerful, striking oaths, words that shake the heart before they even reach the intellect? One such chapter is Surah Al-Balad. At first glance, it appears brief, almost simple, but hidden within its few verses is a profound map of the human journey, the struggle of the soul, the weight of responsibility, and the path toward inner liberation. Surah Al-Balad is not only about a city, a human being, and certain deeds. It is about the battlefield inside every heart. It is about the climb every seeker must face, a climb that is steep, difficult, and often misunderstood. Yet whoever undertakes it begins to taste a freedom the world cannot give. Let us walk slowly through this surah, phrase by phrase, allowing its meanings to unfold like a dawn over the landscape of the soul. I swear by this city. In the outward meaning, the city refers to Makkah, the sacred land honored by the presence of the Kaaba in the birthplace of the Prophet, peace be upon him. But the Sufi sages often say that every sacred place also reflects a sacred reality within the human being. Just as Makkah is a sanctuary in the physical world, the heart of a believer is a sanctuary in the inner world. It is the place where remembrance of God can dwell. So when the verse says, I swear by this city, it subtly reminds us of the sanctity of the space in which divine awareness can live. The seeker begins to realize, your heart is not an ordinary place. It is meant to be a sanctuary. But like any sacred city, it must be protected from arrogance, greed, hatred, and heedlessness. When the heart becomes purified, it becomes a baladul imin, a secure sanctuary where divine remembrance flows like a quiet river. And you, O Prophet, are free of restriction in this city. On the surface, this verse acknowledges the unique status of the Prophet in Makkah, but spiritually, the presence of the Prophet represents the presence of divine guidance within humanity. The Sufi perspective often reflects on a deeper point. Where the light of prophetic character enters, the spiritual landscape transforms. Just as the prophet's presence honored Makkah, the presence of prophetic qualities, truthfulness, mercy, humility, honors the human soul. When these qualities appear in a person, their inner world becomes illuminated. It is as if the heart begins to breathe, and I swear by the parent and what was born. This oath reminds us of the mystery of creation itself. Every human being is born through a chain of generations. Life flows through parents to children like a river flowing through valleys. But Sufi teachers often reflect on another dimension. Just as a child is born into the world, new spiritual awareness can be born inside the human heart. Moments of awakening, moments when the soul suddenly realizes something deeper than before. These awakenings are like spiritual births, and every birth carries both beauty and pain. Growth always requires transformation. Indeed, we created the human being in hardship. This verse is one of the most honest descriptions of human existence. Life is not designed to be effortless. Struggle is woven into the fabric of existence. The Sufis often say that this hardship is not a punishment. It is a training ground for the soul. Every difficulty refines something within us. Just as gold is purified by fire, the human heart is polished through trials. Pain humbles the ego. Loss deepens compassion. Struggle awakens sincerity. Without difficulty, the soul might remain asleep in comfort. But through struggle, a deeper awareness begins to awaken. Does he think no one has power over him? Here the Quran addresses a subtle illusion that lives within the human ego. When people gain wealth, strength, or influence, they may begin to believe they are independent. But the Quran gently shatters that illusion. Everything we possess is temporary. Power shifts. Circumstances change. The Sufi path emphasizes humility, recognizing that true strength belongs only to God. When the ego softens, the heart becomes receptive, And when the heart becomes receptive, divine wisdom begins to enter. He says, I have spent vast wealth. This verse reveals another human tendency, pride in worldly achievements. People often boast about what they have spent, built, or accumulated, but spiritual wisdom asks a deeper question. Was it spent for ego or for compassion? Outward actions alone do not determine spiritual value. The intention behind them matters even more. A small act done with sincerity can carry immense weight in the unseen realm. Does he think no one sees him? Here the Quran awakens a powerful awareness. The gaze of the divine is always present. Nothing escapes it. Not our actions, not our intentions, not even the quiet whispers of the heart. For the Sufi, this awareness becomes a transformative state called muraqabah, living with the constant consciousness that God sees you. When this awareness deepens, behavior changes naturally, not because of fear of people, but because of love and reverence for the one who sees all. Did we not give him two eyes? These eyes are more than physical organs. They are symbols of perception. The outer eye sees the world. But the Sufis often speak about another eye, the eye of the heart. The outer eye sees forms. The inner eye sees meanings. When the inner eye opens, a person begins to see divine wisdom in everything, in the rising sun, in a falling leaf, even in the trials of life, in a tongue and two lips. Speech is one of the greatest gifts given to human beings. With words we can heal hearts, but with words we can also wound deeply. Sufi masters often teach that the tongue reflects the state of the heart. A heart filled with remembrance speaks with gentleness. A heart filled with ego speaks with harshness. The seeker learns to guard the tongue carefully, realizing that every word carries spiritual weight. And we showed him the two paths. Here lies one of the central themes of the surah. Every human being stands between two paths. One path leads towards selfishness, arrogance, and heedlessness. The other leads toward compassion, humility, and awareness of God. Life is a continuous series of choices between these two paths. The Sufi journey is simply the consistent choosing of the higher path, even when it is difficult. But he has not attempted the steep path. The Quran now introduces a powerful metaphor, the steep path. This is the difficult climb toward moral and spiritual excellence. It is not easy. It requires effort, sacrifice, and courage. The ego resists it, comfort resists it, but the one who begins this climb experiences a profound transformation. And what will make you understand what the steep path is? This rhetorical question prepares the heart for something important. The steep path is not mystical rituals or complicated philosophies. It is something far more practical and far more demanding, freeing a slave. In the historical context, this meant liberating someone from physical slavery. But spiritually, it reflects a broader principle, removing oppression and restoring human dignity. The Sufi sees another layer. We must also free our own souls from the slavery of ego, greed, and attachment. True liberation begins within, or feeding on a day of hunger. Compassion is the essence of spiritual life. Feeding the hungry is not merely charity, it is recognition of shared humanity. When a seeker gives to someone in need, the heart softens. And when the heart softens, divine mercy flows through it. An orphan near of kin, or a poor person in distress. These verses highlight care for the most vulnerable members of society. Spirituality in Islam is never detached from social responsibility. True closeness to God manifests as kindness toward people. A heart that ignores suffering cannot truly claim spiritual awareness. Then he becomes among those who believe. Faith here is not merely belief, it is living faith, a faith that expresses itself through action, compassion, and integrity. Belief without transformation remains incomplete. And they encourage one another to patience and compassion. The spiritual journey is not meant to be walked alone, Believers support one another. They remind each other to remain patient during hardship and to remain compassionate even when the world becomes harsh. Patience stabilizes the soul. Mercy beautifies it. Those are the people of the right. The people of the right symbolize those who choose the path of light. Their lives may still contain struggles, but their direction is clear. Their hearts gradually become lighter, freer, and more peaceful. But those who reject our signs are the people of the left. This verse warns against spiritual blindness. The signs of God are everywhere, in nature, in revelation, in the quiet voice of conscience. Ignoring these signs gradually darkens the heart. Upon them will be a closed fire. Beyond its literal meaning in the hereafter, the Sufi reflection also sees a symbolic reality. When the heart becomes sealed by arrogance and heedlessness, it begins to experience an inner fire, restlessness, anxiety, and emptiness. But when the heart turns back toward God, that fire transforms into light. Closing reflection. Surah Al-Balad is ultimately a call to the courageous path of the soul. It reminds us that life will contain struggle, but struggle is not meaningless. Every difficulty is part of the climb, and the steep path, the path of compassion, humility, patience, and generosity, is the path that transforms the human being into something luminous. The Quran does not ask us to escape the world. It asks us to rise within it, to climb, to give, to care, to awaken. If this reflection touched your heart, take a moment to pause and reflect on your own steep path. What small act of compassion or courage could you take today? And if you want to continue exploring the deeper spiritual wisdom of the Quran, subscribe to the channel Divine Mysteries Unveiled. Share this reflection with someone who seeks meaning, and join us as we uncover the hidden lights within the sacred verses.